Education Summit here, and I'm really sorry that we are starting 15 minutes late here. I apologize for that inconvenience. However, we are, without any ado more, I'm going to start this session, which is called a role of technology in redefining examination management. Now, with its increased access to higher education in India, there are several factors to be managed at the level of education institutions. One such critical area is assessments examination system. As you must all be knowing about that. With increasing general enrollment, educators are faced with the enormous challenges of examination system. To ease the pressure on the system, several digital solutions are making their way into the Indian market. Is it effective? Now that is a question. Is it time-saving and cost-effective as compared to conventional methods? And that is also to be discussed. Let us hear both sides of the story from the corporate sector and the top education administrators. So I would like to first call upon for our industry presentation, Narendra Kumar, Director, Orient India System Private Limited, to go ahead and give some perspective on this. Mr. Narendra Kumar.
Distinguished guests, I would like to introduce Orient India Systems Private Limited. We are a US-based company, now started in India about 10 years ago. In the US, we have been there for the last 21 years. We have been working on various domains and current technologies. But in India, we have focused on education. We are in different states in Kerala, Kochi, Maharashtra, Mumbai, and Andhra Pradesh, Hyderabad. We have studied the education system here, and we found a lot of roadblocks. So we have a think tank team which collaborated and found solutions that is high quality, and we follow the latest technologies, and we have innovated few technologies which you can see what Govinda Rajulu, our systems architect would present it to you. So I would like to welcome Govinda Rajulu to present it rather than me occupying his time. Come in, Govinda. Thank you.
Please. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are an organization which thrives on one aspect, that we want to see that the end user is actually not burdened for the reason of digitization. The solution what I'm going to show you right now, at the cost of sounding immodesty, at the outset I would say, will take you or lift you off your feet. That much is assured. In next 10 minutes, what you are going to witness is a groundbreaking out-of-box solution which addresses aspects which hitherto were never addressed. So what I am going to do is, just for the heck of it, I'm going to show you the status of today's mark assessment scenario. Yeah. These are the four things what we actually aspire to. Okay. One is accurate mark digitization. Second is true ID masking of the students. The third point is date and time of evaluation capturing. Okay, and again, how are you going to summate this entire thing for easy consumption? I'm going to give you, show you a video of our solution, and I invite, with due respect, all of you to visit our stall number 24, where you can have a feel of the solution. Personally, you can feel, you can become a student evaluator and you can have the feel of it. So how have we done it? Before showing it, I'm going to explain how have we done it. Okay? We have picked up, you see, for last 10 to 20 years, almost 15 years, something called a digital pens are available. When we fly, we see an EVA marketing, 1,000 rupees pen we see. Okay? We picked up such one, of course, with one good manufacturer. We have done some good innovation, really good innovation. As Sir told, we have our own think tank of 10 people minimum who do all these things. And we have come up with a solution where this is the top sheet of your answer booklet. Assume that your answer booklet, 20 pages or whatever, are behind, and I will give you the top sheet. Okay? This can be redesigned according to your requirement. There is absolutely no problem. Everything is flexible. What I want you to see is kindly see through the solution rather than going into the details of what I am actually going to show. So this is the top sheet. Okay. First problem is what? Attendance capturing. Attendance capturing. The students will be writing examinations. The supervising examiner go from table to table, take the signature on some pre-printed stationery, what is distributed from the education board or council or university, and again it is turned back to the council. Now, under the pressure of evaluation and mark digitization, the council board or university will never be able to actually digitize that attendance. They will only do by exception. Okay, some marks have not come, some complaint had come, okay, then let us see the attendance. No. We have brought a very, very unique solution here. We have drawn the inspiration from the Honorable Tamil Nadu Government's State Government Higher Education Board, which had last year implemented successfully the pre-printed stationery as far as the answer booklets are concerned. Okay, it's not mandatory. I am only showing you one aspect. Now what we do is we pick up. It is pre-printed. It is necessary like your question papers are distributed. These answer booklets also can be distributed. Now, thank you. On the back of this answer, this top sheet, there will be a strip, a gum strip, which when along with the question papers are distributed to the student, he can strip it off and put on to the normal booklet. Okay. Now, what happens is while the examination is going on, the supervising examiner can go from candidate to candidate and just peel off this sticker, which actually carries information. There is a 2D data matrix code is here, which actually carries the year of examination, the course code, 10th, 12th, degree, whatever. The unique ID of the student, the paper number, and the subject number. Now this, when it is stuck onto any sheet, okay, so that takes care of our attendance. So what we do is, in the solution, we provide a tabulated attendance sheet where anywhere and everywhere they can just click this. If a board is conducting examinations for 20 lakh students, every sheet of our attendance can take as many stickers. So you can look at hardly 20 by 5 or maybe by 10, a lakh of scannings, and that is the only scanning what you are going to do, gentlemen, ladies, what I want to tell you right now. That is the only scanning what you are going to do. There is no more scanning in this entire solution. Done. And we have another way of doing that attendance also. If you are really inspired by the digital ideas, we can do much more, and we have that solution also. So now what happens, at the end of the examination, the evaluator will actually tear off this part. The supervising examiner actually tears off this part, which carries the information of the student, his ID, his subject number and paper number. His ID is there, so naturally his exam center information can be mapped into the database. Now this sheet doesn't have anything. Now, it is having 20 sheets on the behind, you know that. Now these answer scripts are put into a bundle, which is 20 to 30 or maybe 50 into a packet. They go to the central locations. Now let me explain in the case of the most complicated scenario of Indian education system, which is CBSE, which is dealing with pan-India 23 lakhs of students. Pan-India 23 lakhs. Tamil Nadu handles 23 lakhs equally, but they deal within the state. Now what happens, CBSE has, with all due respect, I don't know, maybe CBSE representatives might be there. I'm only appreciating you, I'm not actually doing anything wrong. So what happens is, they have regional centers where, 8 regional centers where these 1.5 crore, why? Because you have students of 23 lakhs, say 25 lakhs. Every student will be having at least 5 to 6 subjects. I'm talking about 10th and 12th together on an average. So you are looking about 1.5 crores of answer scripts. And as rightly told by the initiator of this discussion, that with the increasing pressure of students' enrollment, you have to find a better solution. So what they do is they get the answer scripts, they cut open the envelopes, they blow up the answer scripts, then they put 2 barcode stickers, one on this part, one on this part, then they tear it off at the regional center. 8 regional centers, 1.5 crore, so maybe 12,000 or 12 lakhs or 13 lakhs answer scripts per regional center. They do all this manually. They have something called security officer. The same thing, not only they, everybody is doing the same process to mask the identity. Okay. In our solution, what we have done is we have completely eliminated the identity of the student at the very source where the examination is conducted. Fine. Now this answer booklet doesn't have anything about, any information about where it is originating from, who is the person, what is the subject, what is the paper, everything. Now, at the end of the, when it comes to the central collection point, certain universities and boards and councils conduct this in such a fashion that they directly route it through the logistics to the evaluation centers, or certain people, certain councils, boards and universities take two central collection points. Either way, we are okay. Our solution will take care of. So what happens is ultimately, these booklets will never be opened up, these bundles will never be opened up anywhere. They will be simply routed to the evaluation centers. And at the evaluation center, the evaluator is evaluating, he will never know this booklet is pertaining to whom, which student, whatever. Now he will be evaluating. Now the moment he evaluates, these marks within the same seconds of time will be evaluated or validated against three important points. One, maximum marks validation. A particular question paper will have question number 1, 16 marks maximum, question number 2, 5 marks maximum, question number 3, 2 marks maximum, whatever. That validation happens automatically. Second, question paper rubrics. Section 1, 5 questions, section 2, 2 questions, section 3, 7 questions. Pick up one question from each section, and then additionally you answer 2 more questions. Now that scenario, why do the re-evaluation or recheck requests come so many? Because the evaluator, by virtue of his experience of 5 to 10 years on that particular subject, is bringing his knowledge to the evaluation center. And we are actually loading him with an additional activity of you apply rubrics. Why should he? Let him do his activity. So, we have removed that also. So all these things happen while he enters in his age-old way of pen and paper. We have derived this entire inspiration from one simple newspaper publication where it is mentioned that we teachers are from academic background of individual knowledge. If we are being asked to learn computers, it's not right. Okay, now coming to the main point. We being IT professionals, if we sit continuously 8 hours and 20 days continuously, our eyes will water and our backs will ache. And we are telling the teachers to do the same thing. Why are we doing that? Because we don't have a solution. Now we have a solution. Now I am going to show you that solution. And I am not going to bore you with any further prologue. Thanks for the attention, and I would request the dignitaries who are slumbering just see the interesting thing what I have right now. With all due respect, in a lighter way. I know it might be a interesting lunch. So, I have a problem here. You see, you wish Salman Khan as a student, as an example. Nothing wrong in that. And Council for Indian School Certificate Examination ICSE, as again another example. I can show you the disclaimer that it is only picked up, we can pick up anything, just to make you. So now, this is examination center where the student is actually, Mr. Salman Khan is signing here, and he is putting at the end of the examination how many additional answer booklets he had picked up. That's it. Salman Khan is writing his name and signature actually, and he has put how many, at the end of the examination, how many additional answer booklets he had actually picked up. Then, while the supervising examiner is visiting, after 15 minutes or 20 minutes of once the examination starts, the hall becomes calm, and then the supervising examiner starts taking the attendance. At that moment, this what you are going to see is the supervising examiner picking it up and sticking on an attendance sheet which already has a pre-populated 5 rows. But to make you understand, we have intentionally stuck it at an erratic location in order to make you appreciate that this technology doesn't depend upon the printed paper rather than the 2D code. So easy attendance capturing in the examination center. Ladies and gentlemen, this is only the tip of the iceberg. We are only talking about attendance. We don't want to talk about attendance. We are going to give and show you something very serious right now. In another 2 minutes. So this is the evaluating examiner, supervising examiner, at the end of the examination, tearing off the part, okay, and retaining in the school for record purposes, or maybe he may be maverick like me and he will tear it away. Let us see. Yeah. In fact, that's me. So, the intention of tearing it away is one. You have to see that this is no more having any relationship to the answer script. Now, we are at the evaluation center. Please forget about this. It's a wrong interpretation. At the evaluation center, we provide something like what we call as Orion LICR set, which is a tab, a pen, which is a typical digital pen what we have picked up from the market. We have done our innovation. The tab, you can pick up any Windows tab from the market. You can download our application free of cost. This pen is IP65 rated. You throw it, you hit it, you do whatever you want. It is not 67 or 69. It is 65. Okay. But the point what I want to make it here is this we provide with replacement warranty 100%. There is nothing like you give us and we repair. We don't repair. We replace with a fresh new pen. Ingression protection 65 is there. There is a gap there, no problem. So subsequently what happens is, now this is the evaluation center where the evaluation is happening. The evaluating examiner had filled his ID here, and this is the reviewer part. Let us forget about the reviewer part. You can build up as much complexity as you want into the solution. We are again. Bundle number from which the answer is picked up. answer script number. Within a bundle that may be 1 to 45 or 50 answer scripts. What is the serial number of the answer script? Examiner's name, examiner's signature. Done. Here you are seeing that the marks are being written, but actually an evaluating examiner takes 20 to 40 minutes to evaluate an answer script. At the end, he transcribes those marks onto the top sheet. That is the norm in the industry. So that transcription is happening right now. So here it is written 2.5, above it was written 4.5, 2.0, 8, 16, 7, 7.5. Question number 9 is left blank. Now this question paper doesn't have more than 12 questions, but the evaluating examiner had filled more answers. Just observe it. And now that we are done with this, you can see immediately here, within seconds, the examiner's ID pops up. The examiner's ID is 1. You can have your examiner's photograph also, his signature also, his digital signature also, as Mr. Narendra Modi had brought out a few days back. These all can be done. Now you see, my demonstrator is actually trying to show you from this paper to this screen. But actually we have this paper scanned. We didn't scan it, sir. I want to draw your attention, we didn't scan it. Our evaluator had just written the marks. Now you are having a full scan here. Kindly observe it. The evaluator is just confirming like he does in ATM. He is not doing anything else, he is just tapping. He is confirming. 100% accuracy of digitization is the fundamental aspect of our solution, the base aspect. Subsequent to that, we have so many interesting things here. Now you can observe that the maximum marks for this particular question is 15, and the evaluator had wrongly awarded 16 marks. So on the fly the system is not permitting him to do that. Now you may say, we don't want to permit him to do anything on the tab, we want it to be on the paper. So if you give us permission, if you can visit our stall, we can show you that the evaluator can write 10 times on the same block, 6 over 8 over 3 over 0 over 1. We with our human eyes will not be able to finally realize what was the last written digit. But our solution will provide you complete audit trail with date, time stamp, what was written first, what was written next, what was written next. We can show you. Kindly visit our stall number 24. As in, multiply your months of a year into 2. It is just confirmation, as if in an ATM, as if it in a smartphone. We don't permit the evaluator to take any pay, not on rubrics application, not on totaling, not on anything else. He has to just evaluate. When he comes to the top sheet, he has to use our pen. For every 20 to 40 minutes, once he will use our pen and the tab. That's it. So you have a pen and tab which is free for 40 minutes. Maybe when we come to you, if you give us an opportunity, we can work out modus operandi where we can find ways and means, where we can optimize your investment. Let us tell you again once more, paper, pen, printing, non-printing, our solution. Rubrics application, maximum validation, the examiner management, the student ID management, our solution is too flexible. Kindly give us an opportunity, we will come there. You need not give us any assurance, we will come to you. You pick up from individual experts, put it in a basket. We will give a wonderful live demo for your people with your own data to appreciate the solution. Take a call. No problem. You see, this mark number 2 is dropped, which is red, only because out of question number 1 to 5, only 4 are to be answered. Now, this guy had answered more. So, which to be dropped? This guy had answered, 3 has to be. So, this guy answered more, so the least mark was dropped. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you have to appreciate one important point here, that until this point, the evaluator doesn't know the identity of the student. He doesn't know anything about where from it is coming, what is subject. Subject paper is already in the bundle for which he is doing, that is a separate story. But now I am going to take you to how you perceive it on the cloud. So we put everything on Microsoft Cloud, okay? So the tab has to be a Windows tab, and the solution can be ported on your own servers, on your own private on-premise servers. We can create a private cloud for you and finish it off. Now is the last point where I am going to show you how this entire solution is going to be culminating. You can see the marks here. All these marks, what I have given, and this is the submission time, this is the packing serial number, this is the bundle number, this is the examiner ID. In fact, I think I have missed Mr. Salman Khan here. Even though he was not available when the evaluator was evaluating it. Yeah, here you can see him. Yeah. He was elusive. Now you are seeing the examiner ID here. This you are seeing on the cloud, on your own database of your own university, board, council, within your own private cloud or public cloud, wherever you want to. Now we are going to show you the last thing. I think whoever have been with me can appreciate that this was torn off at the examination center. With the evaluator's marks and signature, we are having this for your RTI purposes. You are done. All of your problems are solved in a single go, without going for double coding, stickering, flying sleep, or whatever. I would request you to visit our stall number 24, where we can show you some more innovative solutions with respect to bundle management and the entire education board university management, be it registration of students, be it affiliation of your institutions, be it examination management, be it evaluation, be it verification inquiry, be it dispatch and within your office management, dispatch and receipts. Kindly please do visit our stall number 24. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam, for giving me this opportunity.
It's a camp, so.
No.
Okay, I'm just kidding. Thanks a lot for that insight on the solutions that you have provided, sir. Now, quickly, we'll go ahead and call Mr. Saran Gangan, VP of TRS Forms and Services, to go and give us a small presentation, brief presentation on the same topic that we've been discussing.
Quickly introduce TRS. We are a 20-year-old organization in providing technology solution in education space. So we have been specializing into this domain, and we are known for our innovative solutions. For various problems or challenges the education segment faces. So we have been always pioneering new solutions. So the session being on how technology can help examination process. So I'm going to take you through a case study, a live example of how one of our innovative solution that we have introduced in 2011 in one of the large examination conducting body, and how it changed, how things were and how it changed with the implementation of that solution. So we are looking at the coding, decoding and the marks tabulation process. So one of the most critical parts of any examination process. So just to give you a background of the client, this is a 60-year-old institution with a current student base of about 2.5 lakh students. They conduct exam every year, twice, May and November. And the current number of booklets that they get is about 16 to 18 lakhs. And as most of the universities, or almost all the universities, following the process of coding the booklets, masking the identity of the candidate. So they do that. So before sending it to the evaluator, a fictitious number is given. And till 2010, it was a manual process of codifying the booklet which was there. So as you know, there are certain processes of manual coding is prevalent, which is either manually numbering it or putting a barcode sticker, which has its own set of challenges. And the biggest challenge in India remains that the numbers keep growing. Every year there is a 5 to 10% or at least 7% growth that almost every university sees, and which increases the logistics related to it every year. So in this scenario, the challenges that they were facing, which was making it very difficult for the process to work, is one being the manual process. It's very tedious and cumbersome, and not only that, it's prone to a lot of errors. The accuracy is bound to be low because there will be manual errors. There are duplications that happen. There are mismatches that happen. So the marks may get interchanged, or the two IDs, the two fictitious number come back, same fictitious number come back with two scores, and you do not know who is the actual candidate for that. And these kind of anomalies are, you can imagine how disastrous it can be. And such processes, because of the huge manpower deployment, it is logistically very difficult to control, and monitor. Not only in a real-time basis, but even on a daily basis, the client was not able to get the reports in terms of how many booklets have been coded and how many booklets have been dispatched, etc. And if there are errors, it is very, very difficult to rectify that. And other challenge that comes with huge manpower deployment is the confidentiality, because when there are too many people involved and there may be vested interests, so there may be questions about the confidentiality of the whole process getting compromised. And invariably, because of these errors, the results used to get delayed. It was also difficult to support the post result queries, like there could be revaluation requests or RTI queries, or some reports that have to be generated internally. And it was increasingly difficult for them. They were very desperately looking for a solution because of the scaling up they had to do, which was just not possible in this case, being a manual process. Now, the solution that we crafted for them, some of you would know that TRS is known for its R&D. So we have created this FireEye scanner, which is a 3-in-1 functioning scanner. We have also filed for a patent for this scanner. It can print a dummy number, it can read OMR and barcode data, and it can capture the image of the top sheet for RTI purposes. So that's a record that you have before the tiering of the roll number part, that the roll number and fictitious number exist on that top sheet, which remains in your database. So it helps in two ways. One, you don't have to physically retrieve the booklet when it is required. You can just look at the image and resolve the queries. And two, to handle the RTA queries, you have it as a proof. So we took the FireEye as the core process and built certain other processes around it. We did a completely automated attendance verification. Of course, the automatic numbering was done, and the marks tabulation was also done in OMR. Many of the universities have already started the process of doing marks tabulation through OMR sheet, so this was also implemented. And we went one step further by also introducing OMR and ICR processes just to double check at every step. So the roll numbers and the marks, everything is getting double checked through OMR and ICR readings. So with the implementation of this, so we have been successfully running this process now for last 7 rounds, so 3.5 years now. The process has got completely streamlined. The duplicate and mismatch cases are completely eliminated. There is 100% accuracy in the marks tabulation now. The result dates are announced now before the exam. So with the exam date, the result dates are also announced, and the results are declared exactly on time. The process of answering the queries, RTI, as I said, because of the images that you have in your database, it is much easier to address, and you have a proof of that data. There is also a substantial reduction in manpower, which makes the whole process much more efficient, transparent, and the confidentiality part also becomes very tight. And we are looking at a scenario where in last this 3 years, they were having all those challenges with a 12 lakh size, which has come to almost 17-18 lakh booklets now. So there is a substantial increase in the number of booklets that are being processed in a record time, in a much shorter time. So using the technology, that is how it is working right now for them. So in terms of numbers, if you want to just compare how sort of before and after scenario. So before doing the process, the results were taking about somewhere like 50 to 60 days, and now it is about 40. They generally keep less than 45 days as the time frame to declare the results, and they are able to do it. As I said, they are able to now in advance put a result date, and they are maintaining that. The number of staff involved in earlier process was more than 200 people, which is now just about 50 people. The chances of errors has been completely eliminated because it's now a fully automated process. There is no manual intervention at any point. The number of booklets which they were doing at that point in time was about 12 lakhs, which is now come to about 17-18 lakhs. And as I said, the result declaration happens on time. So we are also looking at, the FireEye solution, which was really the core of this solution. So as I said, FireEye is a scanner that is designed by us. We only manufacture it in our Chennai office, and that has been exclusively developed keeping the need of Indian examination environment. The volume is big, there's a time crunch. So it is a result of an extensive R&D process. None of our competitors, we can probably say, even though for last 5 years we are offering these services. And I see Dr. James here, who has been one of the initial person who recognized the technology and accepted it. And so the solution was that the entire booklet can pass through the scanner. You don't have to tear the booklet before scanning. In the barcode process, the barcode stuck and the part is torn, and then the scanning is done. In this case, the scanning is done before the roll number part is torn. So you can pass through the entire booklet through the scanner. It happens at a very fast speed. I'll show you a quick video of that also. So in that single pass that happens, just about a second it takes, it prints a number. It's a humanly readable number. So it's easy to trace, to track it whenever you want, because it's not a barcode that you have to read through a barcode machine and then figure out what that the booklet belongs to who. So this is a humanly readable number which is printed by the machine, There is a OMR reading of the data that happens, the barcode reading, if at all required, also happens, and the top sheet image is taken with both roll number and the dummy number existing on the system. So thereby it makes a lot of things very fast, and we have also built solutions around it by doing the OMR based mask tabulation. So it's like a completely automated process now, which can help you declare the results very accurately and very quickly. So this is the video of the machine. You can see the scanner. This is how it works. It's about 6 feet long, the whole body, and the booklets can be is fed from one side, it just passes through, and you see that red line when it comes. So that's when the 3-in-1 function happens. So it is as fast as this. So we are able to process volumes like 15-20 lakh comfortably by putting a small team. So the other end, there is one person who is receiving the booklet, and the booklets are coming, numbers printed on it, and the database is already entered. So the image and the OMR reading has gone into the system with this. So it was a very quick presentation on one of the technology solution that has really powered examination process. And we are here. There is a booth there, so my team is there to answer any queries that you might have. And there is one more solution that I am going to come back again in a later session and talk about it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Saurabh, for that insight in the role of technology in redefining examination management system. Now, as we have seen the industry presentation, now from the other side of the tail, as we said, we hear both the sides, because we know that technology has given us a lot, but we need to hear who uses it. The person who uses that digital pen of yours, the person who will use that sheet of yours. So everybody we need to know. So let's start with our dignitary Professor R.V. Rajakumar, Vice Chancellor, Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge and Technology, to please come on stage and say a few words about it. Let's give him a round of applause.
Everybody. Friends, we are happy to see some innovative products coming out of our country, which can help us in holding our examination systems and managing the examination systems. I chose a different topic. Somehow this was put in this particular session, but well, I shall share some thoughts of mine on the examination management as well. But here, for the time being, I would like to present a case study of an ICT-based hybrid pedagogy at a university called Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge Technologies. It's a prestigious project of Government of Andhra Pradesh, started in 2008, with a formidable intake of 6,000 students every year. And new IITs have started with 120 students. And starting with 6,000 is, I don't know how to call it, but the university has started with 6,000 students. Very innovative in many ways. We have been talking about ICT-based education. I'm afraid we don't have any case where we have experience gained out of an ICT-based education system, but here is one. I would like to share my experience with you in running a system, and after passing one batch of students in the system and up to rural students. So this one started with, as I said, 6,000 students, and the students are taken mainly from rural areas. There is an innovative way by which the Government of Andhra Pradesh selects or provides a kind of reservation for rural students. And 85% of those students are from rural areas, about 85 to 90% of them. And government provides almost everything free to these students. So access, there is we do talk about providing access high quality education, inclusiveness, and both are included in this particular university. Now, the education is analog, and certainly we in this particular university we offer strong ICT based education, but with actual laboratories, not virtual laboratories. And we also teach the students or train them on human values. Then soft skills and professional development are included in the curriculum because most of our students are from rural areas. And we have extra courses related to computer skills to the students. And it's very broad based, with the students opting for, there is scope for students to opt for humanities and social sciences courses. A student can earn a minor if he or she desires so, while majoring in a branch of engineering. And the minor can be in Carnatic vocal, and minor can be in Kuchipudi dance, and even Mridangam. And this kind of education system, broad-based education, is good. And I'm happy to mention that in the first batch of students, about 100 of them took a minor in performing arts, classical performing arts. Right now, they are all classical. Well, let's look at the conventional engineering curriculum and the conventional engineering in the practice. In a conventional engineering course, we do teaching, classroom teaching, through a conventional 50 to 55-minute classes. Yes. And we do give assignments, and certainly some good teachers give more of assignments and very innovative assignments. We do have laboratory, we have project work and summer internship. It may not be compulsory in many institutions. In an institution like ours, and my institution, IIT Kharagpur, it's compulsory. And all these components are components of learning by doing. The student learns by practicing or by doing something, by solving a problem. So therefore, the modern paradigm of learning by doing is not very new. So it is already used even in conventional systems. Well, in a conventional system there are some drawbacks, like there is no control on the self-work done by a student. So in a process where a student learns by doing, what about let's leave about the classroom part, the homework part, and what a student does beyond the classroom is not under the control of the institution. Some students do, some students may not do. And the students are all not responsible learners. In Western countries where the students pay huge sums of money, are, I can say, in some crude sense, are more responsible than our students. And many of our students, and particularly those in government institutions, feel that it's the responsibility of the university or institution to make them learn. It's not their own responsibility. I'm sure you will agree with this kind of caustic statement. But that's one reality. Now, having taken cognizance of this kind of facts, we have introduced a hybrid system. We also call a hybrid system as this kind of hybrid system as blended learning system, and we have therefore a system of this type introduced about 5 years back in our university. A 50-minute conventional class is mapped into a 2-hour module. In a 2-hour module, there is a 45-minute video, a 45-minute conventional class or a video course. And in fact, even a video course is also another version of the conventional lecture itself. In the conventional lecture, if the teacher doesn't interact so well, it becomes as good as a video lecture. Now, anyway, there are plus and minus points in that. I'll come to that. It is followed by a 45-minute browsing come interactive session through a local faculty present there, and the students getting involved, and the 30-minute problem solving session is what follows the classroom. And therefore, a conventional 1-hour lecture or 50-minute period is mapped into a 2-hour module. And we have seen to it that the maximum contact period is 8 hours and not more than that, including this. And we have introduced the best of video lectures, or video lectures from all kinds of sources, including books and our own courses. And we have brought a large number of faculty drawn from the national institutions mainly, and they are mainly from the IIT system, and they do the interactive part in the classroom. And there is some flexibility provided. Initially it is more of conventional teaching and less of learning by doing in the initial years of a course, but as it goes towards the end, that's the final year, the learning by doing component is significantly increased. So a typical classroom is this. It looks like this. Every student is provided a laptop in the classroom, and we have in every campus 150 such laptop and such classrooms, and then therefore we have about 450 to 500 semi-EE classrooms in this university. And the e-resources we use in the classroom, as I said, the conventional lecture is also mostly through video lectures. We use our own video courses, we use NPTEL courses, we use the pre-NPTEL courses the IIT system has produced over the last 20 years, and we also use the books which are available online. And of course, besides, we use traditional lectures as well in either of these. And we also provide an e-book or a teaching or browsing material on the laptop from our servers. So a student, because in a 2-hour module, the student does it in the classroom, does the browsing also in the classroom, and does the problem solving in the classroom. And we have, as I said, the NPTEL, pre-NPTEL, that's my course, digitized at IIT Kharagpur as I was teaching 20 years back. And of course the latest courses of ours, which are made by the university itself, and the NPTEL courses are used significantly. And this is how our examination, our course database looks like. Some of them are from NPTEL and some of them are our own, and it goes on like that. And one important, significant luxury we can provide in this kind of system is that a student can be given 3 video courses or 4 video courses. A student can pick up a video course of one's own choice. We have similarly here our own and IIT Delhi's and IIT Bombay's 3 database management courses. It was a good revelation about how the students are choosing the course of one of the courses and then going through that. And yet another innovation we carried out at this university is that, as I said, a student can take a minor in classical performing arts. We have brought the best of exponents descended into our classrooms for our rural students and through lecture demos, and even the classical performing arts training is also provided in ICT based method. To the best of our knowledge, this is the first in the country, and this is how our content servers look like. I mean, each one is a browsing session of the content server. These are all most of them are Padma Shris, and the exponents they have brought to the laptops of the students, and the local trainer trains them, and it includes both practical and theory. Well, in a learning by doing kind of session, classroom assignments are important. Very innovatively designed classroom assignments are important. We do give assignments and the students submit, and this is still conventional, the assignment part of it. And some of the assignments are done on the computers, and then they do submit the assignments through online means. Examination culture, well, to share with you, I'm sure any educationist would agree with this, and these are nothing new. And the examination culture, we would like the student to be learner-centric rather than examination-centric, and the question paper bank is completely banned. We won't make the question paper bank available to students, and we tell the teachers to significantly change even the pattern of the examination system. Well, students are to be prepared. They should not go to the court and saying that all of a sudden, suddenly a new kind of paper has been given and we have no idea about the model kind of thing. Then, about the examination system, we have computer-based testing as well as there is a written component. As you know, even examination like the joint entrance examination of the IIT system from which I have come, and even the GATE examination have become online tests where you tick mark. Of course, the student would compute and would analyze, but the end result goes in the form of tick marking options. So it's a big challenge to give a conventional like question paper, which is highly advantageous and which has very significant advantages through an online mechanism. And we do have such computer-based test plus written component as well. And the examinations, computer-based test is available on the laptop itself at the given time for the students. And the moment the student submits, and after a gap of 10 minutes, the answers are also visible, the score of the student is also visible, and the marks get into the database immediately. The written component is, of course, manual still. Well, the system which Mr. Govindaraj presented and the subsequent presentations also can be used. We do have many other things which are done. We have a registration in every semester by a student is a must. Registration is online. Everything is connected to the student database. There is a portal. The examination is also through the same thing. Registration is through the same thing. And one can submit assignments also through the same thing. And even like academic regulations are also inbuilt. We have complex regulations because we offer minor alongside major, and in the process complex regulations are to be inbuilt. There were some companies which were coming to provide us a portal, to develop a portal for us. With the kind of complexity we have, it's not so easy for us to give the inputs to a service provider, and for the service provider to come up with a customized solution for us. There lies some challenge. I'm sure our companies would like to take up such challenge. They're coming forward to take this as a case and develop a portal for us. But so far we have developed it in-house, because even providing these inputs to the service provider is also not a joke. And in the process, if you have some people, and you can also build in-house, but I do agree that an institution should not be spending its energies in so many directions. But in an innovative system, you have no other but to go your way. Go for online mechanisms, inbuilt online mechanisms. So admissions are through online, and our recruitments are also through online, and this was started in 2008. And we gained a lot of experience. We have already passed a batch of students in this system. In June 2014, we have graduated 5,420 students in this first batch in the system. 1,300 of them took minors, and in minors in different areas, including management. And I would say that in a nutshell, the system worked well. There were many questions. As you know, even the ICT-based system and the conventional system, there are many plus and minus points. But overall, the system worked well. Learning to learn has happened through this pedagogy. Towards the end, students were saying that, sir, I want a selective. No, there is no teacher. Don't worry, sir. You have provided our video course. I will go through the video course by myself. I will prepare, and you only arrange an examiner for me. So that's the kind of enthusiasm through which the students came forward towards the end, or in final 2 semesters. That means they have already learned to learn, and then therefore they tended to be on their own in the final year, but not so in the first years, because they come from the conventional schooling system. Now, well, there are some people for whom the online lectures are boring, and their attention gets distracted, and it doesn't work. Whereas a teacher,
it is interesting in this system of education, but the fundamental doubt that we have is it a state university by itself?
it's a state university. We don't have affiliated colleges. Well, I think we are the first university in the country to use NPTEL content formally into the classrooms.
Okay, but when it comes to equivalence with other systems, like all these students eligible to write GATE and appear for MTech, and
Yes.
so
Well, actually, we got the about 1,000 students responded stating that they took GATE. About 600 of them got qualified.
so they
We got all India 8, 15, 20, 25, 30, and so on.
so this accreditation, all such formalities with the
Right.
AICTE.
Actually, we have just passed the first batch, and AICTE wants us to complete at least pass 2 batches before we go for accreditation. It's UGC
Otherwise,
approved,
with
AICTE approved.
recognition is
Yes, it's a state university first of all, therefore it is gazetted, and it's therefore recognized on day 1. But again, our courses are vetted by AICTE, and of course UGC, but that vetting is not a significant one. We offer a 6-year BTech after class 10, so which includes roughly a 2-year pre-university course followed by a 4-year BTech.
I have looked at it even before this, that's why I had these questions. Thank you very much, sir.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Yeah, please.
Why did you call the university as the University of Knowledge Technologies?
Well, actually, there is a story. It's a very interesting question. Good question. Actually, initially, it was thought to be a IIIT, Information Technology Institution. Therefore, in rural Andhra Pradesh, we are popularly known as IIIT. IIIT Hyderabad is masked by our university. But subsequently, after the first, after a few months, it was transformed to an engineering institution. So engineering is broader than just an information technology. And knowledge is more wider than information.
So you are only offering technical courses?
Yes, technical courses with extra emphasis on knowledge and knowledge engineering.
Well, it's not a question. I have a small observation here.
Please.
In the first place, hats off, sir, for the kind of innovations that you're introducing, in conventional education. And therefore, you saying hybrid. I was really fascinated by that approach. And the way forward to bring out these innovations is to initially, work out the hybrid combinations and then gradually move towards the innovation. Well, I'm going to talk about one such innovation in the next session, but well done, sir. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Any other question? So if there are other questions, I can address them during the tea session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that insight on the role of technology in dealing with examination management. Now, quickly go ahead and call our next speaker. It will be Professor Kankalan Rahina, Vice Chancellor, Dravidian University. She is there.
Ratnaya is his name.
So let me introduce myself because you are in confusion. So I am Professor Ratnaya, Vice Chancellor, Dravidian University, Kuppam, Andhra Pradesh. This is quite recent university, started way back in the year 1997. But this university started with 4 language departments, namely Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, not yet Malayalam and English. So I am very fortunate to be with you and with us, and I am happy to inform that my university is going ahead, not with computers, but with the language subject in terms of not only teaching but even research. But after I appointed as a Vice Chancellor in that university, Broad University, I am quite interested to introduce computers in the university system, because no doubt it's a conventional university and it's not affiliated university. It is the only language university. So this is just growing university in terms of ICT, information communication technology. So I'm fortunate with the big companies like Orion and other companies, because I happened to be visited morning in the afternoon by 12 o'clock that the Orion company, and if at all I will invite any company, because I happen to be the visit of that Orion company, because I am very much interested to introduce information communication technology. Of course, the university is almost having completion of the net system, because this village, the university is located in the village, not in the town. So might be half 6 months of my period, but in terms of examination, of course the university is having students of 500 to 1,000 students, but even if it is, if one company visits, it's damn easy for the company to have the ICT mechanism, automation. And quite recently, I am very much interested to introduce the e-classroom in the university system, though it's a university, the language university. By this month, maximum, the classes are going to become e-classrooms. But with my little bit experience, or with the experience with Rajkumar and others, even that the university should go, not only in the online application or admission, or even in the examination also, even the hall ticket, issue of the hall tickets and other things also, still traditional. I have to accept that. So being myself, so let me introduce, before my completion, my tenure as a Vice Chancellor, at least let me succeed in the online admission first. Then let me move to the examination. Because the distance education, you know well, many around 5,000 applications. But I am interested in the distance education. So quite recently, the distance education bureau accepted and the distance education of the Broad University. And we introduced the online application also in the Tamil sector. So, any company, I think Govindarasu might have, or even the Orion company should have been, I invite, so that the entire process, ICT, fully in that in my university should be introduced. And I am aware of the examination system, no doubt every assistant having the system, but how to go out, how to introduce, that they do not know. So we have to give some sort of training to them also. So naturally, we will definitely succeed. This ICT definitely will be useful to the university system, especially in the examination system. Where Govindarasu mentioned, you can correct it very easily. So with this, because I don't want to give more details, because my university is limited number in terms of students, that too regular, not even more, not exceeding 1,000 students. And of course, even the distance education, we have 5,000 students every year enrolled. But still, we are following live in the traditional practices, but not even the communication technology. So, I invite the attention of the companies like Korean company to visit our university so that we will introduce, because this ICT should go into hand in hand, especially in our Indian system. And we should even succeed in that way also. And the education institution, first of all, because as my good friend mentioned just now, the students are very intelligent than the teachers. But how they can aware, how they can utilize, that's very much important. But even faculty also still going with the help of the book, that's all. Not with the help of any video teaching or other teaching, online education or online teaching. Even
Thank you, Mr. Ratna, for that insight. I'm sorry to, at this time I think I got you right. Okay. Now, our next speaker will be Professor, that is Dr. Fernandez, Paul Fernandez. He will be Father Paul Fernandez, as Vice Chancellor, Xavier University.
To all of you, and I'm very honored to be in your presence today and to speak about this initiative which we did in this last year. We were a management institute from 1987. We came from XLRA and we started XIMB in Bhubaneswar. Father Omar D'Souza was the founder at that time. And the institute grew and in stature and in recognition and so on. So in 2013 we became a university, Xavier University. So we have our flagship programs in management with large number of applications. We touched 18,000 and we could only take 240 students because we are a university. Now we raised it to 360 students. We have the Human Resource Management Program. There we have about 5,000 to 6,000 applications and we can only take, we're taking only 60, now we raised it to 120. We have this Rural Management Program and we have there about 3,000 to 4,000 applications because of IRMA, but IRMA exams and applications are down, so also we had the similar effect, so they're down to about 2,000 and we take about 60. So we have a capacity now in the university to have about 120 students. We have a commitment to Orissa, about 50% of the student population domicile Orissa. They can be anywhere in the country or abroad or anywhere. And also 50% of the representation from all over India and abroad and so on. This is a commitment we keep. And it's a very value-based institute, being a Jesuit institution, probe also excellence. That's one of our foundation values. Higher education should be an education, and that leads people to search for and find excellence in their lives, and build their lives up, and contribute to society in a big way. Create a society based on justice, love, peace, and truth, and so on. So, with this, we ventured into Xavier University. Our act was passed in 2013 in April, and then all these gazette notifications and other things. The entire process took as far as July. So July 6th, 2013 is the establishment date for the university. And so at that time, looking ahead to the next 5 to 10 years, we came up with this digital university, though we didn't claim to be digital university then. Only in a year we came to know that we were the first in India to launch this digital university. So we looked ahead, world was going digital, MOOCs were all around. We had our online examination system. We have about 200 courses going on. And in every course we have a formative evaluation, and there are several exams. For each course, a student may do 3 to 5, 6 exams, projects, and the immersion course is also there. So many things are going on. So it's an entire array of methodologies there, from case study discussions to group work to project work and so forth. Because at the end of the day, what students learn is to work hard, prepare themselves well. Be fit to face any situation. They have to be problem solvers, not complainants and going about complaining about problems. They should be problem solvers. So we emphasize on building them up. So we have formative assessment. And so many of the exams are online. Almost more than 50% exams are online straight. And you have the results almost immediately. They get their feedback also on where they stand with respect to other students and where they made an error, and all these things are possible through technology. We also focused on many of the aspects are in this little pamphlet is there, all the information is given to you, and also there's a diagram as to how we can see the concept and later on how we implemented it and all that. So hardware, I don't want to show because everybody can see hardware, data centers and computer labs and so on. But what's important is everything driven by software. Software you can't see. You are on the cloud, so we have created the cloud. So students are 24/7 connected on the cloud. It's a high speed, both voice and data transfer network created with the help of HP, Juniper and IBM, we're implementing. So we had the support and the knowledge of these giants, global giants. So we inbuilt into this also global standards. We were starting young, so right from the start we said, let's look ahead, let's already start now. A lot of people cautioned me, okay, there were a lot of caveats and cautions given to me, risks we were taking. And we said, okay, we looked at it, that only made us think sharper, think how we can do this, and how we could make and provide our students and create an environment which is, they are ready. Otherwise, if you ask the industries, they used to say, I don't want the knowledge you give, I don't want the skills you give, or what we are looking for from your students is that they have good attitude. Okay? Or the other way around, so we said, no, industry would take 3 to 6 months to train them after our, so we said, let's change that and let's create a platform on which they'll be ready in a week or even less. Ready to move into industry and take on the job and the problem and get it done. So this was kind of an idea that kept us going. And so for our students, they are ready. The other thing was to person, okay, I don't have much time, so how do I prepare my examination pattern? How do I prepare my presentation and so on and so forth? So you choose the particular author's article, and then you have the program, it will create a PPT for you. Almost 60 to 70% of the content that is there, it will take on and it will create that for you. And you will have to go over it, fine-tune it, that's the part of it. So your job is, to a large extent, is time otherwise. Is saved and the energy is saved. So you can attend to student queries. Students can come prepared, and the classroom is not going to be just information dishing out. It's going to be high-level conversation with students. Students already know much, and they can know more, and all this information is available to them. Do they understand it well, understand it in depth, understand it in breadth? Can they have a meaningful scholarly conversation? Can they build their skills? Those are the kind of areas we are moving in. So this was the kind of a trend we created. So everything as far as we are concerned, it's not going to replace traditional teaching because what we did was we have a series of exams. We said one exam will be pen and paper. Other exams can be online, project, immersion, everything. We have for a course about 45. But one paper, because today they need to really also write, and just pen and paper, nothing else, one exam. Okay, we do that. Okay. So we have at this moment 1,100 students. We have also 1-year executive program and other programs. We will grow. There will be more students in various courses. So the number of exams that we conduct in a year is about 1,000 exams, and those also will multiply because we have about 280 courses going on currently, and those also more courses. These are high management courses right now, but other areas courses will begin. In short, other things we can talk about. On campus, it's a private cloud, but it's not restricted to that. On demand, it's also public cloud. Backing is there. Everything is backed up in public cloud. So you can be anywhere in Europe or New York, and you can follow the courses here, so long as you're a student or faculty or staff of the university. So creates a learning community, creates a community that can interact. So there's a lot of connect that are built into this. So students can connect to professors, peer students, alumni, and so on. So that part is also there in this. So it's so it ventured in a big way. We had a lot of problems on the way, but we have weathered it. And we were lucky enough because we have also information technology faculty who are well versed in the whole field. So we got it right almost the first time. So in 1 year we were able to do this, and we inaugurated the university on the 7th of July this year, after 1 year as well. And October 16th we inaugurated the digital university. Okay. So all the staff, faculty, students, others are getting onto the cloud experiment. This is just now till January. It's all experimentation. Then we'll evolve an IT policy, user policy, also IT administration policy. Because these are all also high investments that we have done in this field.
You said, in the topic the author of the book, the automatically it will create, PPTs.
Yeah.
What software you are using for this?
Okay, software was created for us. Okay, some secrets I have to keep at this moment. We got HP to the entire HP team was there. HP is one of the supporters of this conference. Okay, there was a battery of people who created this. They have Dr. Krishnan, someone who is they have a copyright also. They have a technology.
This means the software is replacing the teacher.
Not necessarily. You can say if you want, but what we are using it like students will come prepared for the class, but also post conversation class they can look back. Also for the you give them a printed book, but that is not enough. That printed book has one author's idea. In the open source work, if you see ideas and you get alternative ideas and contrasting ideas and depth ideas and breadth. These are available too in the open source. Okay? And this is what is made available to the students and also to the faculty. Okay? And so that's why what we say is if you see our digital library is also another part of this. I didn't mention it, I just skipped it in passing. We created a digital library which has all the journals published. We spend about 90
So I understand that all the relevant matter pertaining to a particular point is brought down together.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. And the context, suppose I want to know how did they manage sending Apollo to the moon or something. So they'll give you the context in which how they developed this. So those videos and those materials will be there.
Is it that you have made the videos or you are
No. It is what is available on open sourcing, which the software, it could be from any.
It is something like browsing, is it?
It's a kind of it's a search engine, high-end browser, which is looking ahead as to what is coming up. See, there is an internet minute. You may have seen I have the slide, but you will have seen it. Every minute there are a couple of million videos, articles, everything, content is being created. Okay? So this is the world in which we are. And content is available, already readily done, in a very attractive way, in a way that explains. Suppose I want a mathematical concept or let's say random walk. It will explain in a beautiful way by the best minds and best teachers globally And there's no harm in making it available. Students can look at it beforehand, come with their questions, and ask the question where they didn't understand or something. I think get their doubts clarified. So this is the world in which we are moving. So
Assignments to use and how many courses are made?
okay, this is the plan. Actually, this is the plan. Okay, there was this distance education plan which I inbuilt into it. We are creating now. Okay, we are creating now and putting them on. We have 120 plus on BM alone, from marketing to
No, I'm not talking
courses.
topics.
Courses, full courses.
You have made 120 full courses in
We
management.
are offering on our campus 100 fully courses. In accounting and finance, about 19 courses we are offering. Accounting and finance, all are 3 credit courses, each course, which means there is on each credit there is 90 minutes. Okay, that is 30 minutes lectures, 30 hours lectures, 21.5-hour sessions, and students will have to do about 2 times that, 60 hours of work. So 3 credit course would have about 90 hours of work for the students. All this is okay. So we have 19 high-end finance courses. Okay. These guys are going into high-level corporate jobs. They are sort of them. The next one, which I said, we're going to create a Master of Science in Global Finance in collaboration with Fordham University. We'll add another 6 courses in Fordham, about 6 courses here. Okay. Now, all this will be after some time available to practitioners. Okay. We have to create a
5 years back,
yeah.
for generating our own many courses,
Yeah.
it's very easy. You need a high definition,
Yeah, right.
a camera, and then you need a competition kind of
and an editing room.
compressions.
Yeah, right. And a soundproof, because sound in the classroom may not be that. Yes. Yeah. So all this is in the pipeline, okay. But as a software, as a system, as a whole thing, we have done. And
Yes.
well,
Because this faculty member that you have been able to recruit within a good year.
last year we added only 12 faculty members. This year we'll add another 12 to 15. In areas of sustainability, if somebody wants sustainability management, we have taken on course. Human development is another area. And IT related to these issues and other issues, most welcome. Okay, we'll be moving in that direction. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Paul Fernandez, for the insight and a great discussion that we had. Now, for the session, we'd like to call on next speaker, and it will be Dr. Rajendran, Vice Chancellor, Kerala Agriculture University. Dr. Rajendran, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, in fact, the present discussion is slightly shifted from what we were informed to talk about. But anyway, I'm sharing some of my experience in the Kerala Agriculture University with respect to agricultural education in the state. Ours is the sole state agriculture university, as you all know, established in 1971. And we have 3 faculties, 7 constituent colleges, 27 research stations, 7 Krishi Vignan Kendras, and some other externally aided project supported institutions like AICRPs and all. And we offer only professional courses. We have 5 undergraduate courses in 3 faculties: agricultural engineering, agriculture, and forestry. And total students are around 2,100. And we are offering postgraduate programs in 27 disciplines and doctorate in 25 disciplines. Of course, examinations has not gone up to the level of complete ICT supported programs, but we have registration, then application, registration, tabulation, and publishing the results and all is online, but other things, evaluation are still conventional. First, we have e-courses and online courses offered by our e-learning center, and we propose to cover other aspects also online in the coming years. So apart from this, an interesting thing that we have is the Agri Portal for educating farmers. So that is something which you can find only in Kerala, in the agricultural universities, where the farmers will be able to get information on agri-technology, not only in agriculture and allied sectors also. So that is something new which I would like to highlight. Other things are, you all know that standard varies from university to university, facilities are also the same. Then, of course, universities with engineering background and support will have more of developed IT centers, but agriculture universities and traditional universities still to come to that level. But there will be some homogenization after, say, some 10 or 15 years in almost all sectors, I hope. So let us just skip through the important components that I would like to present now. We have education online course and academic management, then 24 hours Wi-Fi connections, then outreach social media is there, and governance also we have some ICT supported programs. And coming to, of course, the PR details and office management system, we have this, I will skip through because it's totally irrelevant now. Now we have the salary, payroll, everything is fully computerized and it is supported by ICT. Then coming to the academic management system, we have the course, some of the courses, as I said, these e-courses are there. Then marking attendance, then payment of fees and course registration, addition of marks and preparation of the course registration on grade card, CR, CGC, mark sheets, everything is by academic management system. Then other activities are yet to be made operational. So this is the university accounting system, UFAST. This is a centralized accounting system we have. From all the registration, the expenditure details and the release details we have compiled at the center. Of course, this is the software has been developed by our staff only. Then coming to a new thing, that is the e-Krishi Pathashala, that is online agri courses for all. We have student registration, everything online, then maintaining course schedule, then communication, then doing deliver, course and assessment, everything is online. Then record test score, then track progress, then assignment, project work, then learning score. So all these things are done online. Then coming to see the multi-UI is friendly, that means it can be accessed via desktop, laptop or iPad or even mobile phone. Then online text material, contact classes, video taped contact classes are there. That means the multi-modal teaching methods are there, the multi-dimensional information is there, the knowledge, skill, technology, all these things can be accessed. Then these are there's an interaction forum also. That means the details can be, two-channel. Here we have the Agri Portal with the fine details. If you want details on the home page, of course, you will get the details. Then if it is crops, you go for your option, which crop you want and what type of recommendation you want. Then even other allied sectors like animal husbandry, farm machinery, agrometrology, fisheries, everything is there. Then we can go for specific information like fertilizer, crop doctor, crop health diagnoser. So all these things can be accessed, and this is for farmers to get more information. So that coming to other details like the cultural operations, Malayalam also it is available. So for this particular program we bagged many awards. One is the UN Summit Digital Empowerment Foundation Awards, then World Education Awards 2014 for this team, then this month and Southwest India Awards for the same program. Then he was also won the Kerala State E-Governance Awards 2013, last 2 days back. So we have an e-learning site for the College of Forestry, Kerala University also. So this in website, in Facebook also we are active. Then of course in Twitter. Then examination management, we have a separate this thing as I have mentioned earlier, only this additional marks, preparation of CRCGC, mark sheets, then the grade reports, then other aspects have been made online. Then self-assessment test also is possible for the student. Of course, there is provision for the scorecard. The score also will be available, as you all know, within or with the minimum period. So, just to conclude, the CRCGC registration, part of examination, supervision examinations, evaluation examination, recording and tabulation, the marks and publication results is possible through this technology. So we are yet to progress in this field, particularly for graduate and postgraduate programs. The online courses the e-courses we have for the BSc and MSc programs also, for which evaluation everything is online. So these are some of the points which I would like to share. And I am not an expert in the IT, but we have our faculty members here, Dr. Zakir Hussain and Dr. Gopakumar. They are the persons behind. So they came here to share their views also in this regard. More than that, they came to get more exposure in this aspect. So in case of any doubts, please, I request Dr. Zakir Hussain and Dr. Gopakumar to respond. Thank you.